Hey there, everybody. This is Miles the Dapper Nerd, and today I'm here with
Rachel Levy.
I just want to thank you today for aiding me in this interview for my military series.
My pleasure.
So my starter question always is, what compelled you to become in the armed forces?
Well, I'd say a lot of it had to do with my father. He was in the military from 1968 until 1993.
Oh wow!
So he spent an entire career in the military, and then after he retired, he became an ROTC instructor. So he was my biggest influence. And my grandfather was in the military, also career military. And when I showed up for my freshman year of college, I hadn't made the decision yet. But my father signed me up for ROTC.
Oh wow!
So he came back to me after freshman orientation and said, "You're now in ROTC. You have to be there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday." And I showed up. Next thing I know, I got a scholarship, and just about 24 years later, here I am.
Oh wow! That's actually pretty interesting. So your father influenced your will, I guess.
He signed me up. No.
Yeah.
But I stuck with it though. It was something I needed to do. It was great. I was a quiet kid, pretty shy. 1 year of ROTC, and you can't be a wallflower.
Oh, wow.
You have to jump in. So it was good for me.
Interesting. So what level or position are you in?
I am a lieutenant colonel, and on September 10th, I will become the battalion commander of the 407th Civil Affairs Battalion.
Wow. Okay, that is actually pretty dang cool, and I just want to give you congrats on that.
Thank you.
So, who have you met during your work that has made an impact on your career on your chosen career? Sorry.
Let's see. I met everybody in the last administration except for Condoleezza Rice, which would have been neat.
And who is he?
So I was in a meeting where we were briefing George Bush. Actually sat next to Colin Powell, and we were just trying to get him to run for office, and he said his wife wouldn't let him. Most influential, I would have to say John Lawler, and he's not a guy that's on the TV. He's an 06. He's a full bird colonel, and he outranks me by a couple of years, and we expect him to be the new 1-star coming up for my area. I'm in civil affairs, so in my branch, he's an up and comer, and he leads with humility. He knows how to spot a good idea and take it, whether or not it's his. He doesn't lead with an ego, and that's something that I want to emulate.
Oh. And then another question I had: what is the ultimate mission you've been on?
Ultimate mission. I can't even tell you that one. I have some cool ones, but yeah, let me see. The best one, we were getting ready. Geraldo Rivera decided to come back. He was allowed back into Iraq in 2008 during the surge. And we also knew that General Petraeus was going to be walking through our neighborhood because we had done enough good work that people, the violence had actually, I can't say stopped, but it was a permissible environment. So Petraeus was going to walk down, Geraldo walked down a little bit after, and they were in our neighborhood that we had been working on for the better part of a year.
Oh,
so
wow.
that was pretty, that was a big deal. And Petraeus didn't say much. Geraldo cried. And that was on TV. But Petraeus was just happy with what we had done, and that was enough. And he was able to walk down the street without body armor, so that was pretty good.
Wow.
Granted, there were snipers on every rooftop, but whatever. But on camera, I was like, wow, he's just strolling down this neighborhood in Rashid.
Just a quick off the book question. So I've heard that like you've been all over like the world, like all over the country and things like that. But what countries or continents haven't you been to yet?
I've not been to Africa.
Oh wow, really?
And the unit that I am taking command of, their AOR, their area of responsibility is Africa. So I will probably see Africa sooner rather than later because I'll be sending some soldiers over there. And even though I'm not taking the entire battalion, there's a company headed that way, so I'll do a battlefield rotation where I go visit. But about 4 months ago, I became the secretary of a charity. It's called Avolo Gabon. They do charity in Gabon. The president is actually from Gabon, married to a fellow battalion commander. So I will be headed to Africa for that mission probably next August.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Also, have you been to like any of the north or southern continents?
You know, like Greenland or?
Yeah, Greenland and then Antarctica.
That was oh no, Antarctica no. No. And if I go there, that means we're doing something with Russia. It's Greenland. I mean, everybody's been to Europe. I can't think. I haven't been to China or Japan or India. Not yet. Although India is on the list, on the short list. But as far as military-wise, my area of focus was CENTCOM, Central Command. So that's Iraq, Afghanistan, and Kuwait.
Yeah, good. Sure.
Yeah, super fun places.
Mm-hmm.
So, was it a childhood interest, or were you planning on something else? And what would that be?
The other thing was law. I did attempt it. I was asked to leave, so I moved on. I wasn't the best law student. I could not grasp. Our first semester we talked about hourly billing, and it wasn't necessarily it wasn't altruistic why I walked away from law school. I wasn't such a great test taker for them, so I moved on to the military, and I am a reservist, so my full-time job has been working for the government and on contracts here and there.
Wow. So, who was your biggest inspiration?
I'd say grandfather. I remember when he retired and grown men were visibly upset, and I thought that he must have had quite an impact to make grown men this upset about the fact that he was saying goodbye to his military career. And he's just that guy. He's a great guy. He went on to work as a what did he do? He worked for the police department in New Jersey, evidence clerk.
Oh.
And it doesn't, I mean, people probably, it's not the flashiest job, but on his retirement, when he retired from that job, he got up on the stage and he gave this retirement speech, and it was just, he was joking and he was so comfortable. It was amazing. He had command of the room, and it was just made me realize how neat he really is. And I wish I spent more time getting to know him as just a Tom and not Granddad.
Yeah.
Although he's still with us. It's just he really likes to watch baseball and be left alone. So.
Were there any missions that perplexed you whatsoever?
Yes, there was one mission. We were told to count how many pools there were in our mahalas, which is just, it means neighborhood. So Petraeus,
Wow.
he had talked to, people have meetings at this level, and it trickles down to the battalion level where I was working, and they said, you need to go out to your areas and count how many pools there are in the communities, because the thought was, we'll get these pools up and running, kids can go play in them, and then the focus will be more on normalcy than the fact that I'm rolling up and down your streets every day at 4:30 in a vehicle that weighs a couple tons.
Oh wow.
So but we had no pools. We didn't have a whole lot of running water, not a whole lot of power. So to even fathom worrying about this seemed not something you'd want to do with your time, and especially after we not my unit specifically, the unit we were supporting had already lost 9 young men.
Oh wow.
So the last thing we really felt we needed to be doing was worried about a pool. But pool, roadside bomb. You do what you're told.
So what rank are you, and what's your MOS?
My rank is 05, Lieutenant Colonel, and my MOS is 38 Alpha, Civil Affairs Officer.
Wow.
And I've got all sorts of letters after that. 5 Papa. I'm a paratrooper, so I do dumb things like jump out of planes.
And now, guys, here are some suggested questions from some of our viewing audience.
Great.
And how is it being?
My commander's not going to see these. You're like, what did you just say?
How is it being a female within your rank?
Oh wow. This is a kids show, right?
No, not really.
How to appropriately answer that question? There are challenges. There are a lot of challenges. As I become the person who makes the decisions, it is not lost on me that I'll have challenges, given that there aren't a lot of women in my MOS, and there are even fewer that get to the point where they're leading over time.
Oh, wow. And then also, how is it being the same rank as your father when he retired?
I thought it would be odd, but no. It's just my father's kind of larger than life, so it's Fred is a special man. So being the same rank really, it's neat, but he's pushing me to keep going. He thinks I'm going to make a 1-star, it's cute, but that I'm happy where I am. You always want to give yourself opportunities to excel, but I'd be happy with 05.
Wow. All right. And so here's the final question that was suggested by your brother.
Oh, wonderful.
How does it feel to have soldiers with a woman in charge?
I think we're better now than we were. This would have been difficult in the 80s, even though the 80s were a time when your mom and my brother and I were young, and opportunities were there for women, but it still wasn't a welcoming environment. 1988 was around they first were letting women into airborne school, and that was something where they thought there'd never be women. And when I showed up in 1994 at airborne school, the language that was used was inappropriate. and some of it came from Dad. So it was, it's funny to see your father walk into a hangar. Everybody's got all their gear on, and the kinds of things that he was saying were very that machismo, that male dominated. He's field artillery and males only until recently. So it was an environment where I had to prove how good I was every day, all the time. Mm-hmm. And that happens as a female, and then being minority, and then being in an area where civil affairs, there are women in it, but not a lot. So it's tough. But to get here, the guys know that I must know something. So it's so far so good. I haven't had to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
Not yet.
Not yet. But yeah.
So I guess you can say that like women are becoming like a little bit more powerful and they're rising in the ranks.
I think so. It's going to take a little bit before. I mean, I have my feelings about women in infantry and SF and Rangers, but we have to adapt the Israeli army has had women integrated. I'm not sure if the entire time, but their women are special forces, so it's possible. We have a lot of growing up to do as a country. I think our next challenge, what I've been briefed on recently, is just getting our minds wrapped around gender identification.
Okay.
So there's a lot of challenges coming up, but I think the opportunities are there and women are taking them. But women also have taken the opportunity to say, I don't want X, Y, Z, because I have the right to say no to that too.
Alrighty, so thank you for conducting this interview with me.
You're very welcome.
So that's about it, guys, and I hope to see you soon. Next time, we're gonna be having a big interview with her mom, who works for the Pentagon. So I hope that you'll watch that video pretty soon. And don't forget, if you want to see more videos like this, check out my channel. And like always, peace, and I'll see you on the dapper side.